Attorney Nate Amendola, Criminal Law in Plain English. The question today is, what is child enticement? Child enticement is a crime in Massachusetts that in plain English basically means the following. A defendant lured or enticed a person under 16 to come into a building or to come into a car or something, and then the object of the defendant's actions were to then commit basically a sex offense in whatever they took the child, the building, a house, a car, whatever it is. So child enticement is exactly what you think it is. It's the defendant is alleged to have enticed a child, somebody under the age of 16, to come in or come out of some place, and then the object of that defendant's actions is to then further commit a sex crime. So I think sometimes the best way to explain this and get a little bit deeper is to actually read the law, which I'm going to do for you and explain it a little bit. So, in order to prove a defendant guilty of this offense, the Commonwealth needs to prove three things beyond a reasonable doubt. First, the Commonwealth's got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the alleged victim was a child under the age of 16, or importantly, a person who the defendant believed to be under the age of 16. So this is really important because what we see a lot with this crime are these sting operations where members of law enforcement will, sometimes it's like an online community or something, but generally online will pose as a underage individual. So it's an undercover cop or somebody who is not under the age of 16. This person is clearly over the age of 16, but they're on the online chat board or calling or texting, whatever it is, and they're engaging in a conversation with the defendant or the soon-to-be defendant, and they say, "Yes, I'm a female. This is my age, under 16." And then the defendant engages in a conversation with this person, and then they agree to meet up somewhere. So the issue here is it's not a legal defense that the person whom the defendant was speaking to was actually not a person under this age 16, because it was a police officer who may be 25, 30, whatever. But that's not a valid defense because the defendant in his head, assuming it's a he, thought that didn't know that it was an undercover cop and thought that the person he was chatting with was under 16. The second element is that the defendant enticed the alleged victim to either enter, exit, or remain within a vehicle, dwelling, building, or an outdoor space. So it's persuading the alleged victim to come to a house, a building, to meet somewhere, that type of thing. And then third, that the defendant sort of did this enticement with the intent that he or she or another person would commit basically a sex offense. There's a bunch of enumerated offenses that qualify for this. I'll read them quickly, but again, that the defendant enticed somebody with the intent that he or another person would commit the offense of indecent assault and battery, rape of a child, assault on a child with intent to commit rape, inducing the minor to become a prostitute, open and gross lewdness. There's maybe another 10 or 12 of these. Basically, the idea is the enticement then goes a little bit further, and the defendant's mind state is that he or she wants to commit a sex offense. There are some things that are not sex offenses, like disorderly conduct that counts, disturbing the peace that counts, keeping a noisy and disorderly house, that type of thing. But the thing you see a lot in Massachusetts is engaging in sexual conduct for a fee. So if the defendant is talking, chatting, texting with, it's always an undercover cop, or usually, and the defendant believes that he's actually talking to somebody who's under the age of 16, and then they arrange for some sort of meetup or encounter whereby the defendant would exchange money for sexual conduct. So that's the classic one you see in Massachusetts a lot. These sting operations. The defendant goes to meet somebody at a hotel, come to room 332. They knock on the door. It's the police. That is the crime of child enticement in plain